Well, hello everyone, my name is Nick, and spring is right around the corner, so I have a hell of a lot of houseplants to repot, and I was just getting started with my repotting. I just repotted this Hoya globulosa when I realized I could share this experience with you guys. I figured what's more fun than repotting houseplants by yourself? Repotting houseplants by yourself while making pointless commentary to a camera. So that's what we're doing today, and hopefully not all the commentary is pointless. I will of course be sharing tips about the plants that I'm repotting and the soil mixes that I'm using. I will make it worth your while, but we're also here to just kind of hang out and have a little bit of fun today and relax. So as I mentioned, let's just get right into it. I repotted this Hoya globulosa first, so second, well first for you guys, but second for me, I'm going to repot this Hoya lacunosa right here, which is just a lovely common Hoya that's on the market. They call this the cinnamon scented wax plant because the flowers do really smell kind of like cinnamon. I think they smell a little bit more floral. They do smell nice though, but they can catch you off guard. Sometimes I would walk into the room when one's blooming before I know it's blooming, and I would think my cat peed in the room before I realize what I'm smelling, so it smells mostly good. But I have this Hoya mix that I made prior to filming because I didn't realize I was going to be filming today, which is just a standard houseplant mix. I'm using a cocoa coir based mix with some, it's like a, what is this called? I have it right here. So this is the cactus and succulent imperial potting mix from repotme.com. This is not a sponsored video today, but of course I'm going to be mentioning some products because I use a lot of products in my home. But this is a really great kind of mixture to add to my potting mixes when I'm working with like a Hoya or a peperomia. This definitely really comes in handy with that because some regular potting mixes in some cases for some Hoya and some peperomia can be a little heavier. And these plants are semi-epiphytic, hemi-epiphytic. I never know the right word. I should do my research, but these houseplants don't love to just completely grow in soil. So we're gonna add a little bit of extra bark to the mix today, and that is the mixture that I have right now. So I'm just gonna grab another bucket. We're seeing double today. These buckets are by Centurion. I've had sponsored videos in the past with these buckets a long time ago, but I use them every day. I know it's a bucket, but like I freaking love these things. They really do come in handy. Oh my goodness, I'm noticing this is probably not the best time to repot this Hoya, but I'm gonna do it anyway. There's a peduncle on it, which you're definitely not gonna be able to see. Oh, there's a couple peduncles, holy crap. Like I said, this is a really easy Hoya to get blooming, but not often do I have Hoyas this small that get blooming, but as long as I'm not messing with the equilibrium of this houseplant too much today, it should be okay. I've never really had that much of an issue, but I'm just gonna add some of this mixture to my planter here, as you typically do when repotting. And, oh my goodness, and just add our plant here. I'm not gonna mess with the roots too much because it's a Hoya and it's got a lot going on. It's got a lot of new growth as well as peduncles, so that's fairly exciting. And you're probably noticing I'm using a spoon. I do not own a garden trowel. Perhaps that's something I should ask for from repotme.com in one of these months when I'm filming one of the videos, which I do with them, which I should give a little shout out to my series that I do with repotme.com here on YouTube. And I understand that sponsored series might not always be the most exciting thing when you're watching videos on YouTube, but I do want to, like I said, give a little shout out to that series because I really enjoy it. repotme.com gives me the opportunity to just make whatever video I want, and I get to pick what products from them I use in the videos. So I think it's a win-win. It really allows me to make any video I want and gives me more access to certain videos because I wouldn't normally have the products to make them, if that makes sense. So I highly recommend checking it out if you haven't already watched it. It's definitely not a jamming things down your throat kind of series. So that's all I'm gonna say about it. Now I'm starting to feel like I'm promoting it a little too much, but I really do enjoy it. I've never enjoyed making sponsored content more, let's put it that way. So I have this Hoya all potted up here. I just loosely potted it in with some of this mixture. Sometimes, depending on the plant, I might be a little bit more deliberate with like pushing down the mix, but this is already really chunky mixture, and this Hoya, I don't really want to mess with it too much since, like I said, it has a bunch of new growth on it and it's also getting ready to bloom. So I think that's gonna about do it for that one. Let me go see if there's another Hoya or so that I can repot. I didn't really pre-plan, like I said. I just decided after repotting this that we're gonna start filming this process. So I don't really have a set plan for today. So just bear with me, if you will. I have this Hoya GRACILIS here that still needs to get potted up in this planter. This one hasn't really gotten growing for me. I feel like, I'm like, I should probably leave it be until it gets growing, but I'm tired of waiting. I've had it for almost a year now. So we're gonna do it anyway. I have to make some more potting mix for these Hoyas, so let me just gather the materials. So like I said, I'm using the a cocoa coir-based mix. This is the Houseplant and Tropical Classic Mix by Repotting.com. Reiterating the fact that this video is not sponsored, but you can use code NICK to save 10% on any of their potting mixes. And if you click through the code or the link that I have in the description of this video, I get a small kickback. So just gonna throw that out there in this video, might as well. But I'm just adding a little bit of this standard houseplant potting mix, and then I'm adding a bit of this chunky succulent mix. In fact, I might add just a little bit extra of this mix because this is a really thick ceramic planter and it's not going to wick out any moisture, and there's just a little extra space than what I would normally like to give Hoyas. This one is a ceramic planter, but this the nursery planter barely fit inside here, so I was barely adding any extra soil mixture. So I'm not worried about this one with the other mixture, but I do want to just pay a little bit more extra mind, especially since this houseplant hasn't really gotten going for me yet. So I'm trying to do the best I can in every measure. Now I'm kind of considering maybe I have this planter right here. It's a little small, but it's a Hoya, so I don't think you would really mind. Oh goodness, I feel like this might be the better bet. If I'm questioning this whatsoever, just because I'm worried this doesn't hold on to too much moisture, and this is just sitting underneath a grow light, this isn't in like a bright window or anything, so. I don't know. See, this is why I wish that you guys could help me out and tell me this stuff, but I am, like I said, just sitting here by myself talking to a camera, so that's not really gonna help us out, is it? Let's do it. Let's stick with the terracotta. If we're questioning it, let's follow our gut here. We're probably gonna end up removing a little bit of the soil that's in this planter anyway, just because this, oh, I guess it does have a good amount of roots on it. Look how thick this one root is right here. I'm like, does this even belong to the Hoya, or is this like a weed in here or something? That's a pretty chunky Hoya root right there, if I've ever seen one. It looks like a like daikon radish getting ready to grow. Anyway, let's just remove some of this soil, a little bit off the perimeter just because it's a little big for this planter, but I'm hoping that this is the step that we take for this Hoya GRACILIS to get it to grow, because I really enjoy this Hoya. It's just like a plain, like Carnosa-esque Hoya, but I kind of really appreciate that. In fact, I'm just gonna grab one of these nursery planters and use it to kind of scoop in. That's another thing that I use instead of a garden trowel, which I should get at some point, but I just don't have the need. I'm not doing very much planting that involves a lot of dirt. Usually I am just planting stuff in like a 6-inch planter, 8-inch planter maximum. I don't have much room for anything much larger than that. I also just really love the way that Hoyas look in these just like basalt terracotta planters, the dark gray ones. They really look fantastic. I don't really know why I potted this Hoya LACUNOSA in the white ones. I'm getting kind of sick of these white terracotta pots, as they don't age very well, but this is kind of just what this one was sitting in, and I just kind of brought it over to the counter and repotted it. I'm not working with a whole bunch of nice pottery right now. Most of it's occupied, so a lot of terracotta right now, but I do have a couple of nicer planters, I'm pretty sure, in my possession to use for repotting today. It's just a little few and far between, so we're gonna have to work with what we got. And all of these Hoyas were pretty dry, so I'm gonna go ahead and water them today. I'm probably gonna do it off camera just because set up here. Probably take them all into the shower and just give them a good watering with the watering can so that I don't loosen them up. I think the shower nozzle might do a little bit of damage, rocking them around here and there. But normally I would repot my Hoyas and let them be if the soil was like a little bit moist for like a day or two before I go ahead and water it. But like I said, these are all bone dry, so I'm just gonna nip that in the bud right there. You can even see this one is getting a little pale. I probably should have watered this one a day or two ago. I don't know if I have any more Hoyas that I need to repot today. I didn't make a list of what I need to repot. I know while I was up, I grabbed this right here. So clean this up a little bit. This is my Philodendron White Princess, which is gorgeous. The variegation is quite stunning. I've had this one for a couple of years now. It's really started to work its way over around the edge of this planter. And it's got a lot of character, and I love the way it looks in this planter, but I can tell it's time for it to come out. I mean, look at this planter. This thing is like hourglass skinny, and this is the Philodendron. I think this needs a little bit more room. So we could put it in here. I don't really have a better option. This is probably a good size, and I can use the Hoya mix because it has a little bit of that extra bark added since I was worried about this in the first place. I'm thinking I'm gonna add a little bit more pumice or perlite, whatever you have is fine, but I'm gonna grab this bag right here of volcanic rock or pumice. I don't even think I've opened this yet. Let's open it, and we are gonna add just a couple scoops to our mixture. Well, I'm just pouring it in, but I'm eyeballing a scoop, let's say, in comparison to what I have in here already. Perlite might be the better bet, but I've already put volcanic rock in here, and it's really like practically the same thing, so it's not a big deal. But I think it would like a finer mixture than a more coarse mixture, but it's going in this planter. This one that it's been growing in is unglazed ceramic, so it's been wicking out the moisture, and it's been drying out a little too quickly. So it's time to come out. So let's just, this is not gonna put up a fight at all. I don't even know why I'm bothering with this, but let's just get up here. Let's pour it out. There we go. Yeah, this poor thing. Oh, this sad little thing. It looks great, but I feel terrible. Alrighty, let's go ahead and get this planted up in here. I'm just gonna try to have it spilling over the side the same way we did before. Let's just pour some of this mix in. I don't know how I'm doing this. I guess I'm just gonna hold it in place where I like it, which this looks cute. Just spilling over. Oh, that's adorable. I'll have it just like front and center on one of my shelves. It's been growing on my grow light shelf in my bedroom since its birth. But I feel bad that I haven't been giving this plant the justice that I think it deserves, as I know that these have become quite the hot commodity over the last couple years, I believe. First it was Pink Princess, then it took a couple years for the White Princess to catch on, but I feel like I've been seeing on social media that this has definitely gained a little bit more clout, and it deserves it. I really love the variegation. The Pink Princess looks sometimes a little bit more sickly in comparison to this, which I really love this variegation. I always say I'm not like a sucker for variegation, but this has some really, really gorgeous variegation, and this is fun. Like, the way it's just spilling out of this planter here, that's a lot of character. And I could, if I really wanted to, I could like get it upright, which is also really cute. Wait, oh my God, wait. I don't know. I feel like we should let nature do its thing. Well, we have the option. You guys can let me know. I have the option to put it up, but I kind of like this. But obviously it fills out more. You have eyes, you know what's going on. Anyway, this looks great. And actually, I've been hit with a wave of inspiration over the last couple weeks. I've been trying to put like the final touches on my apartment, which I feel like I've said I've been doing for like ever, but I think I've actually done it now. So I like put up a painting in my bedroom, and I found this like plant shelf thing from Urban Outfitters, which I took a gamble on because it had 0 reviews, and I was scared it was gonna be like a piece of garbage, because you know how things can be from Urban Outfitters, let's be real. But I actually like it a lot, and I'm struggling to figure out what I'm putting on this plant shelf. I've put one plant on it so far, Peperomia japonica. I'm sure I'm showing you footage at the moment if I did not already. But the other two spots, I can't figure out what to put on it. And I've had this Pilea peperomioides on my counter all day because I've been wanting to put it up there, but I think now that this planter's free, this actually might be really freaking cute. And I have it in this planter here that we did, I'm pretty sure, in my first video on my repotme.com series, Houseplant Tips and Tricks is what it's called. But this plant has grown quite a bit, and I honestly think I should remove it from this planter because it was already a small planter with the comparison of this plant size to begin with. And this is gonna start putting off a bunch of babies soon as Pileas do. So I think I'm gonna move it out of this smaller planter into this a little bit of a larger planter. Not much larger by any means. In fact, it's a little bit skinnier in the base here. But I feel like that's great for this Pilea peperomioides because it can really have less room in the bottom to really make its mind up about making them babies and then spit them all out at the top here and then have them come out the like tapered edge, which this is a really cool planter. This is by I forget his first name. I want to say Andrew Kachenko, who is a local potter here in Philadelphia. So I, of course, would like to continue to use this planter as it was doing a wonderful job hosting my Philodendron White Princess here. It just, after a couple years inside this planter, I think it was time to upgrade it. And then maybe we will do the same for this Pilea peperomioides in a couple years. But I have a feeling that this is going to look really good on the top of that shelf because I don't really want all plants spilling off of it. I think I want like at least one more spiller plant on the shelf, but I need one to be kind of upright so it's not like a total mess, if that makes sense. I don't know, but I think this is the one. Oh, I can see it's already starting to form a baby, which makes sense as to why these roots are feeling like a little tight down there. Pilea peperomioides have pretty like tiny, like thin, kind of like lacy roots, so normally they're not that much of a troublemaker, but wow, this guy really got rooted in here. Wow, I just tore off a little bit of those roots down at the bottom, which is fine because this plant will regrow, but you can see along this edge right here, maybe you can, maybe you can't, but there is a lot of root growth on there, and this little size plug right here that this plant has kind of maintained is perfect to go inside this planter here. I think though, instead of using my mix that I've curated here for my Hoyas, which is already pretty much out, and my Philodendron, I think I'm gonna switch back to just this plain potting mix here, the classic and tropical mix. Just filling up this little base here, which is such a small base. It's like an inch and a half, maybe no more than 2 inches at the base here. Oh, let's just get this nestled in. Oh, that's so cute. That is so freaking cute. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Ah, okay. This is great. You don't even need that much soil. I don't even know where that baby went that was forming. I think we might have accidentally chopped it off, but that's totally okay because we wouldn't even notice it because it's going up like 7 feet off of the ground. But in due time, it'll get some new babies going and it'll look fantastic. Do you guys remember when these were like super expensive? I remember when I first got hired at Urban Jungle, they were like $30 for a 4-inch pot, and that wasn't even a bad deal. I remember I got really lucky. I got one for like $35 on eBay in like 2016, 2017, I don't know, right around when I first started my YouTube channel. And those were like all the rage. I never really like gave in to like houseplant trends back then, but I saw the Pilea peperomioides and I was like, I kind of want it. So I got it. And this is not the same one. That one I recently got rid of. Well, I guess not necessarily recently. When I moved into this apartment, I got rid of it because it just wasn't looking so hot and I didn't really feel like reviving it. And it's just become such a prevalent houseplant lately that as much as I, you know, had a little bit of a sentimental attachment to that one that I had prior, I knew that I could just go to a houseplant store and pick one up for, I think this one cost me $2, so you can do the math. But this looks so cute. This is gonna look so amazing up on the top of the shelf. I can already feel it. I really wanna showcase some really nice planters up on the shelf, so I'm really happy that I get to show off this one by Mr. Kachenko here. His name's written on the bottom of the planter, that's why I'm looking. Let's continue. I have to go figure out what we're gonna repot next though, so BRB. I found a couple more. I have this Begonia polygonoides right here, which I think will also look really good on the shelf. I think this might be my other trailer, as first of all, it's a really cool houseplant. Two, I really like this planter and I think it'll look great in it. This is by Brunning Pottery, by the way. I think they're available. One of the only places I think you can get them online, other than their website, is Pistols Nursery, so you can check them out. That's where I've gotten mine from in the past, most of them. But this Begonia looks like a freaking Hoya or a peperomia, so I think it'll be perfect up there. I'm nervous that the lighting is not going to be great. This houseplant I can see has a ton of new growth on it as well, but the lighting is not bad. Oh no, sorry, I'm standing up. My head's probably cut off. Let me get down. The lighting isn't bad in there whatsoever. It's actually pretty good, so I'm hopeful. I can always move it back to the shelf that's on. Let's do it. Let's put it in here. I think it'll be great. So once again, I'm gonna use the straight soil mix from the bag. This is some pretty good soil mix. I would never in a million years use like a Miracle Grow, for example, potting mix like right from the bag. They are way too heavy. They say they have perlite added in them, and they do, technically, but trace amounts. This actually has a good amount of perlite in it, so, and a couple other additives in it as well, so. Let's go ahead and gingerly get this begonia out. Begonias are pretty new to me. I have less than 10 begonias in my possession. That number fluctuates below 5 probably because I kill them every now and again. Or I get scared and I give them away to a friend so that I'm not the one who's in charge of killing it. It's happened a couple times. But this one I really think is really cool. Like I said, it looks very reminiscent of a Hoya or a peperomia. It kind of gives me like a Hoya kentiana vibe or like a peperomia peresciifolia vibe, just to throw out a couple of gibberish names for you there. But this is fun. The way it's just like this kind of like pendant begonia. Oh, it's super cute. So let's just get it nestled in there. I'm gonna add a little bit, okay, let's gotta add a little bit of soil in the base of our planter here, just to get it started, and that looks great. So we don't really have a front side of this planter here, so we can just put it in and we can work it out on our shelf any which way because it doesn't need to be facing forward or whatnot. As you know, some planters have a very defined front section and back section. This is not the case for this one. Begonias are really, really cool though. They are a lot like peperomia, where there is a very large variety of them and they look so different. Like all begonias look so entirely different from one another, which is just so incredible. In fact, they're way more prevalent than peperomia, I would say. There's way more begonias on the market. I just think for some reason they are a houseplant that really hasn't gotten the attention that they deserve. I am guilty myself for not giving them the attention, as I've said multiple times that I'm still kind of getting into begonias, a little bit more of a beginner when it comes to these houseplants, but I'm confused. It's just like with gesneriads, where I'm confused why it took me so long to kind of fall for these houseplants, because they really have a lot to offer. And if you have an addictive personality like me, you best be careful because there is a whole lot to love. You might find yourself getting in a little too deep, which is why I'm being super careful and not bringing too many home, especially because also, like many peperomia, some begonias can lead to heartbreak when they are just so gorgeous and you cannot get them to grow, and it just seems like all they want to do is die. But this Begonia polygonoides has not been the case for me thus far. So yeah, I've been having this like internal little battle, like whether or not I want to keep like the plant tags in the plants, because like 9 times out of 10, I know what my houseplant is, but sometimes it just feels kind of nice just putting the tag in there. It makes you feel like you live in a greenhouse, you know what I mean? Or like a botanical garden. I don't know. I'm gonna leave that one in for now. And I also have another one here. I have plenty more to repot today. At some point I'm gonna cut it off because I don't want this video to be eons long. But I have this philodendron here. This is a philodendron hederaceum variegata, which this thing is ridiculous. Like, it's beautiful for what it is. I'm not hating on it by any means, but the price that this thing goes for is astronomical when in reality this is like the marble queen Hartley philodendron, when a marble queen pothos is like worth nothing. And it's because it's just mass cultivated, and this is not mass cultivated yet, so it costs a pretty penny. But I'm just asking you to think twice if you want to spend $200 something on this, or however much it costs. I got this for free for a collaboration that I did a while ago, so I shouldn't be crap talking it because I do enjoy the houseplant. I'm just questioning, why does this cost so much money? It's literally a marble queen Hartley philodendron. It makes no sense to me, but I don't know if I want to plant it in here. This is just like a crappy planter that I made back when I did pottery, which I'll do pottery again at some point. I pick up hobbies and drop them like flies. So yeah, but this is just janky. Like, it's not, it might look good from far away, but up close you will see like all that So I'm just gonna peek in my little cabinets here real quick. This planter, I still made it. It's a little less janky. It might look kind of cute. It might look kind of cute. Wait, I really like that. Okay, we're gonna do this one. I like that. Not tooting my own horn here. This is still not a well-made planter. I never mastered pottery. And this one is like, this one really took a beating in the kiln, as you can see. And like half of the, I'm just picking out the bad parts. I know you guys are gonna be like, stop. But it's just not perfect. And that's why it's perfect for this houseplant right here. You feel me? Anyway, I think we're gonna just pick up the remnants of our Hoya mix here, which there is not very much in here, just because I would like to have just a teeny bit more of a barky mixture for this philodendron. I don't know why I'm bothering with that, because it's like a Hartley philodendron. Regardless of the fact that it's variegated, it's still a Hartley philodendron, and those are ridiculously easy to grow. But I still it's still a houseplant. I still would like to give it the best life that it deserves. So I added a little bit of the bark mixture, a little bit of the pumice is in there too, a little bit of other volcanic stones, and we will, what am I doing? I'm getting a little dramatic over here. We're gonna just add a little bit into our planter. I really like this color scheme. I really want to do some more red. I've been focusing more on like green in my living room, like of the earth. I've been doing more of like this like vintage meets modern vibe in my bedroom, and I'm running with the yellow because I really had a moment for yellow lately. And I've been like just having this thought of like doing just like blood red, like ox blood, not blood red, that sounds gruesome. Ox blood sounds gruesome too, but you guys know what I'm talking about. This kind of dark red that's on my planter here in the bathroom, because my bathroom's like very gray tile with like white tile too, so I feel like that would be a good pop. But I already have the bathroom decorated with a bunch of gray stuff. So anyway, we'll get there. It's not for this video, but just a thought that I've been having lately. I've been having fun running with the colors in my apartment. So I definitely, in this case, want to make sure that this burnt section is on the back section, like I was saying. Some planters have clear defined fronts and backs. This one definitely has a defined back, at least in my opinion. So we're gonna have this, I'm gonna have it spilling forward. I'm just gonna push it forward a little bit off its axis, if you will, just for visual effect. And of course it will just grow on a vining habit as it starts to grow. So in theory, we're just giving it a head start by pushing it over the edge. But since it's gonna be sitting on a shelf on my typical plant grow shelf that I have in my bedroom with the glass and the grow lights, I think this will just make it stand out a little bit more than it was just simply upright. This is really adorable. Like, I can't help but smack talk some of these plants that just get blown out of proportion, because how can you not? But this is really cute. It's freaking adorable. I cannot deny that. I know of one more on the top of my head that I need to repot today that I will do for this video, but that might be the last one because I'm not trying to bore any of you. This is getting a little repetitive, but this houseplant's really gorgeous, so I want to do it. It'll be a great one to end on. The only thing that kind of sucks though is I don't really have a great planter for it. This is just sitting in terracotta. Actually, I might have one I could steal, like from myself. I'm not actually stealing from anybody. But this is my Begonia imperialis silver band, and hold on, I gotta go get this planter. It's really taken its time getting used to my home. The leaves are very gorgeous. It's got that lovely like wine red underside. But the new leaves are coming in like literally looking eaten. If you can see, like it literally looks like I took a freaking bite out of these leaves. It was just taking its time getting acclimated to my home, but now the newest leaves are starting to come in without those literal chomps, at least for the most part, and it's flowering some. And all of my instincts are saying that I should probably leave this be because it seems like it's just finally starting to get growing, but I'm also like, the growing season's coming up, so what better time to repot it than now? But I have it in this here, which honestly, like that does look really cute in the terracotta. I shouldn't be downplaying terracotta. I just have a whole bunch of it in my home. Obviously it would look a little better with a darker terracotta or like a more white planter. It would have looked really, really good inside this planter here. It would have really popped, but I need this up on my shelf. This one just sits in the back of my shelf in my bedroom because it does really pop with the foliage, so I don't need it to be out front and center because it will get noticed. But I also have this planter here. This is from Berg's Potter, which is one of my favorite. Oh my gosh. Okay, we might have to do that. My only concern is that I feel like I have like 3 of this same exact planter on my bedroom shelves. I could be making that up. I just need to reassure myself before I do this to myself. Oh my God, no, it's totally fine. This is the only one that will be on the shelf. I have this one in terracotta on the bedroom shelf with my Hoya multiflora. As this comes in multiple colors, glazed, unglazed. I love Berg's Potter. I have a bunch of them in my home. They're a little pricey, but you can find them sometimes for really good deals on some websites. So just keep your eye out if you're interested. But this is gonna look freaking sexy. Like, look at that. That looks so good. I kind of wish I just had a plain old one of these. I don't. This is the last one I had available. But that looks good. That looks good. Okay, I'm like psyching myself out now. We've been doing this for too long. So once again, I'm going to use just the plain soil mixture from the bag, if I have enough of it left. I'm just gonna dump it all in with, there's just like the tiniest bit of the mixture that we just used with the philodendron. I'm just gonna finish off this bag. The begonia can handle just a little bit of bark. It's totally, totally fine. In fact, it'll probably love it. It's great. I really do need to repot this one regardless of my second guessing because this dries out like the freaking dickens. Like every 3 days, it's like wilted because it's just drying out so fast. It's still a little bit moist, but begonias don't mind. I believe most begonias don't mind a little excess moisture. This looks super sexy. Hopefully it doesn't keep it from getting acclimated to my space any more than it was. But as I mentioned, it was drying out so fast. So I think getting it in this little bit of a larger planter in this soil mixer that's not too, it will drain well enough. Of course, you need all of your houseplant soils to drain. You don't want any of them to stay wet. That's the death sentence in like 99% of all of your houseplants. But it's still gonna hold on to a little bit more moisture, which is what I'm looking for with this begonia because I've learned over the last couple months of taking care of it that that's really what it requires. And it looks so good. It's like the cissus discolor of begonias. It honestly is such an adorable appearance. And the flowers are really dainty and small. I don't know if you can even really see them. They're just coming in over on this side of the plant, but so freaking cute. So we repotted a lot today. I still have a bunch more to repot, but honestly, how long have we been sitting here doing this? So I'm gonna call it for today, and then I'll do some more repotting probably by myself in the next couple of days. Just to recap real quick on all of the houseplants that were featured in today's video. We had this Hoya globulosa, which I repotted on my own time, which gave me the inspiration to do this video today. And then together we did this Hoya lacunosa and this Hoya gracilis. There were 2 begonias that we did, this Hoya imperialis silver band and this Hoya polygonoides, which looks a lot more like a Hoya or a peperomia in my opinion. We have this Philodendron hederaceum Variegata, as well as this Philodendron white princess. And last but not least, we have this Pilea peperomioides, which is going to look fantastic up on our shelf. So I'm going to go ahead and water these and carry on with my day, as I said. So thank you all so much for joining me today. If you don't already, follow me on Instagram at phillyfoliage, subscribe to my channel, and I will see you guys in my next video. Have a great day.